So I am Matt Holmen, and I come from a company called Go Viral. We basically distribute videos across the internet on a click-to-play basis. So kind of working with a lot of these new formats, longer form videos as opposed to sort of traditional TV ads. And we gave a seminar this morning at the festival, which was in essence about three things. It was about a new generation that we have collected a lot of research about now. Technically, normally you call it Generation Y, but we've chosen to call it Generation Social because we think it's their main characteristica. So there was a lot of stats on them in terms of we focus specifically on kind of how they influence media and advertising. So in terms of their attitudes towards both, they really want a world on demand. They really want it in digital, which kind of led into the media section, but also kind of on the advertising side, feeling very, very tired about the traditional advertising model, tired of getting screamed at, tired of getting pop-ups and things that you don't want to. So to summarize them, we kind of called them Generation Opt-out. Not because they don't opt into things, that's in fact what they do when they like it, but because if they don't, they opt out of it. And rather than perhaps previous generations who would make a fuss about it, who would write a complaint, who would do something else, they just quietly leave. So they're very just kind of opting out when they think the noise becomes too much. So in terms of media, it means that we talk traditionally of two things. We talk about the first point of access. Where do people access the internet from? Now we see probably even next year, perhaps the year after, mobile internet will take over from traditional desktop-based internet. In fact, we were struggling a little bit to even define what is a mobile device these days, because you have screens in all sizes now. You have mini tablets, phones, etc. So we just, as a sort of overall, called it device. And you pretty much access the internet through your device. The other major change is what we call the first point of distribution. So we used to access the internet through either email or portals, or later on a browser or Google, the kind of search model. Now we have a completely new model where people access the internet through apps, social networks. 28% of young people check Facebook before they get out of bed. So it's taken the role of the traditional newspaper. So just to kind of shortly sum up what that means for advertising, it means that the traditional advertising model that we've kind of perfected over 50 years is really in many ways obsolete. First of all, it was based on an idea of having a audience, a lot of people at the same time doing the same thing. When media comes on demand, it becomes an individual experience. So we have to tailor to that. The second thing is they want things they can share and talk about. They want social content. In fact, we've seen an explosion in social content that contains videos, links, photos, services, games. It's all one big mix, really. And the second big point to that is really the sort of traditional advertising notion, especially in the digital space. We talk about individual targeting, behavioral targeting, dynamic retargeting, all of these things, where all of our research really points towards the fact that we take decisions on brands in groups. So I might target you with an ad, and it might be very specific to you, but the first thing you'll do is you'll check either reviews of it, or you'll talk to your friends, or you'll post on Facebook and say, hey, I'm thinking of buying this thing. Is it a good enough thing to? So not so much on the awareness level, but on the consideration level, we see that these new types of media, the social, the review, the kind of user-driven stories, is really what's driving consumption. So we just kind of made a statement today to say that we should change the advertising model. We should create content, we should look at them as assets rather than as ads.